into the grit, growth, and the transformation that happens when people decide to go all in. I am your host Ash, and today's guest is someone who isn't just chasing finish lines. She is redefining what it means to start strong, stay strong, and never stop evolving. Christine is a dedicated roadrunner, HYROX athlete, and a marathoner about to take on her third world major in Berlin. She is also a VP of marketing at one of the world's largest staffing firms, a wellness ambassador, and an absolute force when it comes to balancing ambition, well-being, and endurance sports. But what makes this conversation powerful isn't the resume, it's the story underneath. A feet of water led to a leap in triathlon, a late start led to a lifelong love for running, and through it all, she built a mindset that's unshakable. Christine is the living proof that it's never too late to chase what lights you up. So let's get right into it, and let me introduce to our guest today. Hello, Christine. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Ash, for having me. It's actually an honor, and thank you for that introduction. I honestly, as you say, I'm an athlete. It sometimes doesn't feel real to actually think of myself as an athlete, but I am a runner, a triathlete, and someone who didn't grow up thinking that she was going to be an athlete or thought of as an athlete. I started running in my late 30s after a very painful divorce. I learned to swim at 44 after nearly drowning as a teenager, which was a crazy fear that lived with me for a long time. And today I train for marathons, push through perimenopause, which is another thing that I never realized I'd be dealing with, and chase dreams bigger than I thought ever possible. It's pretty incredible. I'm here because movement really saved me, and thank you for having me today because honestly, mentally, emotionally, and physically, all of this has made a difference in my life. And I believe in sharing that truth so that others know it's never too late to rewrite their story.
Exactly. And the hope with the podcast is that somebody's listening to you. You started swimming at 44. Me, instance, I also don't know how to swim. So it might be a good lesson for me too. Yeah, it's to inspire somebody who's listening, and it's never too late to start. We have to take that one step. Maybe this will help them and just think that anything is doable in their life. Let's hope for that. All right. Thank you for a quick introduction about yourself, and we can jump right into it. You took on triathlon to comfort your fear. You said you learned to swim when you were 44 after nearly drowning as a teenager. I think that's brave because I know that feeling because I've been into pool a few times and I also cannot float, and I've drowned or close to a few times. I know how it feels. How did this decision reshape your relationship with endurance sport?
Sure. We'll just take a step back. I actually nearly drowned when I was a teenager. I was in Florida when it was Hurricane Andrew, and the tide pulled me in. And since then, I've never been able to go into the water more than with my knees. Swimming pool, feel a little more safe, but the ocean was a really scary place for me. Swimming became a lifelong fear and carried it with me forever. 44, our organization at DECO had a program called Winter Youth, and what they did was sponsor regular people in every country to take on doing a triathlon. And this was an Olympic distance triathlon in an ocean. So we were going to Lanzarote, Spain, and we were doing ocean lava. So at 44, I decided it was my time to try. Actually, it was just before COVID hit. I signed up and thought, hey, I'm going to do this. And the world had different thoughts for me because COVID hit, and it was like, okay, no, you're not doing it yet. So it was, pause. I hired a coach to teach me how to swim. We got the ban lifted, and in 2021, we were able to actually go and do the triathlon. And honestly, if you're older, learning how to swim at an older age is a lot more difficult, rewiring your brain, to be honest. But I not only had to think of learning how to swim, I had to conquer a fear. The fear was real in my head. So it wasn't just a physical challenge, it was an emotional challenge as well. And that choice to do something really scared me more than anything in my entire life. It completely shifted how I viewed fear. It taught me that growth doesn't happen in a comfort zone. And since then, every endurance event has been about reclaiming my power and reminding myself that I can do hard things. I remember standing right in front of the ocean the day of the triathlon, and I remember that the water was, I'll call it angry. I remember telling everybody the water's angry because it was the worst water they had. I actually thought they were going to cancel it. And the fact that I actually dove in head first and went for it, honestly, to this day, I can't even understand how I did that. I actually think my mind was so strong that I was focused that I was going to do it no matter what. When I got in there, my goal was to focus on one buoy at a time. Every time I got to the buoy, I celebrated. Honestly, I was in the water cheering. People probably were thinking, what's wrong with this guy? There's a lot of people swimming past me, but I was just, every buoy, I made it. It was like, oh wow, I did it. When I came out of that water, I felt like I already won the triathlon. It was the biggest thing I'd ever done in my life.
I can understand the fear you're talking about. It's the same for me too, because I am 42 and I also don't know how to swim. Every time I go to the water, and the fear of drowning is always in my head. I cannot just float and let it be and just let the water take me. And I totally understand that fear, and it's really hard to overcome. You said the older you are, the more
Yeah.
difficult it is, because you have to rewire everything. And kudos to you that you were able to do it, and you did this incredible event, swam in the ocean. That's been your biggest fear. I'm really happy for you that you were able to get over your fear and do this. And also, you got hooked after that first leap, right? Now, running is core part of your life and who you are. You call it your anchor. Can you take us to a moment when running you held together, when it was more than just a workout?
Sure. I actually started running when I was 30. So back then, I had no idea what races were, and that wasn't the purpose for it. I actually started running right after I had a bad divorce, and a doctor prescribed antidepressants for me. So I was put on medication, and honestly, I hated how that made me feel. It wasn't me. And someone had gifted me a pair of Nikes, and I'll never forget these Nikes. They were green, like a fluorescent green and pink, and they had a chip inside it. I don't know if I'm dating myself, but it was like a chip that you'd connect to the Nike app and you could track. I didn't know about Garmin back there. And I don't even know if Garmin was like a big deal back then, but these Nikes were the way that I could connect it to my phone and actually track myself. I started running. I didn't even know what a race bib was. I ran for 30 minutes a day. And at first it wasn't for fitness. It was all mental. It was for survival. It became my therapy. Years later, now when I realized perimenopause has hit me, everything's shifted again, emotionally, physically, hormonally. And once again, running has become my anchor. It really has helped me when I didn't recognize my body or my mind some days. And it's helped me to just be there, and I'm still here, I'm still strong, and I can still move forward. And for me, that is what running has done for me.
I totally understand that, the mental part of it, because I also started after something similar happened, and I moved from Texas to Phoenix, and then I was really in a bad spot, and then me and my cousin, I was staying with my cousins then. I started running after that. I also started super late. I used to play Ultimate Frisbee, but I was never into running, so I got into running after I got injury. But yeah, it's such a relief when you just can be outside for long and then just think about with your own thought and
Yeah.
just enjoy the
Beautiful
peace, the
thing.
quietness. Yes, beautiful things, exactly. It is amazing that I'm also blessed that whatever has happened in life, that I chose this path, because there are so many things you can do, but I chose something that where I'm in the right path, I think, that
100%.
instead of doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's just like you're saying, I could have stayed on that medication, which honestly didn't help me. I got the same, if not more, from choosing to run. And at that time, I didn't realize what it would
Yes.
lead to, but it's amazing what you can do when you focus on yourself and your health and prioritize it. And running did that for me. I didn't need the medication after.
Yes, that's good. Those medication are not good anyway. It's a drug basically, because the more you take, the more they want you to take.
Yeah.
You said you started running in your 30s and then you were much more of a serious runner. So how do you feel now versus when you were starting up?
I think when I was 30, I just honestly needed the running for my mental health. And I think it was there for me when I needed it, how I needed it. I find that the beauty of where I am now is that running has done so much for me physically, mentally, but it's also opened up a community, which is another beautiful thing. I say this all the time. If you have not run a marathon, and if you don't plan on, that's okay, but go and watch a marathon. Honestly, it restores your faith in humanity. People that are cheering each other, that probably wouldn't necessarily even be talking to each other. Doesn't matter who you are, what your race is, your body type, any of that. None of that matters when you're at a race. People supporting each other, cheering each other on. Now I feel running has just empowered me. I use it personally, professionally. You've shared I'm VP of Marketing Executive. And honestly, it's very transferable skills into what you do in business, right? Creating a plan, executing on the plan, things don't work out, adjusting the plan. It's very similar. And I take that back to my team all the time. And I remind them that sometimes things don't go the way we want. It's okay. Reset, refocus, and move forward. And also take one step at a time. You don't always get where you need to go by leaping forward. Sometimes it takes little steps to get there. So I think all of this whole journey has made me a better person, a better leader, leader in my organization, and I'm grateful for that. I honestly, any way I can motivate people to find a passion, to do something that can help them. If one person gets motivated, it's worth it. And that's my purpose on my Instagram channel, and all of what I share is hopefully I can inspire somebody to do more, be more, and to believe in themselves.
Exactly. That's why I did this. I started doing this podcast is just to get that one person less up after listening to all the stories. And there has been some incredible stories from overcoming the health issues and some running these huge distances, and it has everything. And I know that people can relate to it because there are so many people going through same thing in their life.
Yeah.
Like now after this is gone, somebody's probably going through a divorce and probably on medication, and they'll be like, oh wow, look, it helped for her. So let me try this running thing if it works or not. I think it will help. And my hope is that there is one person that can get out and get the lace up, then it's a win. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. It just we need just one people to go up and then just do it. And so let's talk about the environment, because you mentioned that running by the water helps you connected to the reason why you love this sport. So what is this connection between this space, that sensory experience that hits you so deep?
It's funny. It's the place that I feared the most, but the place I find the most calm, which is really weird, right? But running by the water is like a reset for me. It's where I go to breathe, think, the rhythm of the water, the view, the openness. In a way, it can be calm, but it grounds me. Where I've cried there, like I've gone on runs where I've cried while I'm running. I don't even know why, but it gets me sometimes. I've made big decisions there, and it's more than just a route. It's where I remember who I am. And to be honest, I'll tell you one thing. Every time I do a race, when it gets hard, I actually picture myself in the water and each that I go through. And I remember thinking, if I can do that, I can run or walk, whatever, to get to that finish line. It's fun. And where I live by the lake, and I have a place up north and it's by the lake. And I always find a peace and calmness when I run by the lake. It's just a beautiful place.
Yes, I also like to run by the water because it looks nice too, but also then it is peaceful as well. And I think that's why there are a lot of trails here. And I'm blessed because I don't have to run through the street and go to the red lights. Today I did 22 kilometers and I just ran through the trail. And I didn't even put my music on today. It was just about the birds tripping, and then I saw a rabbit running. I saw deer crossing.
True. Actually, up north, I've actually taken notice of nature. It's a weird thing, but the birds. I actually started to see all these different birds, and then I'll be, what kind of bird is that? And look it up. And it's amazing what you can see when you stop and you take notice of what's in your surroundings. We're so busy all the time, constantly busy, running from one thing to the next. But when you're running and you're actually in a space that is in nature, you actually can take the time to appreciate what's around you and your surroundings.
Exactly. And also in this digitalized world, everybody is on their phone all the time. And today I ran 2 hours, 40 minutes something, and without phone, nothing, just looking at it, just enjoying the nature, saying, oh God, why am I doing this? It sucks.
But it feels good when you do it.
Now it feels good, but yeah, at that moment, is why am I doing this? Why did I sign up for this?
Yeah.
And then I'll say, nope, yeah, and it's no pain, no gain, because you need to suffer now so that the race actually will be nicer.
Yeah.
It's all this motivation talk, you go and this one more loop, you can guard this, you run so far,
You know
now
what?
you can do this one
It's
more
funny.
time.
No run always feels great. There's always a different run. Like every time I go for a run, it's never the same feeling. So some runs are great and you're like, oh, okay. Like this last weekend, I went for a run, a 10K. The first one that we went up north, we opened our place, and I was, oh my God, I feel like a runner again. And I just done 2 half marathons, but I didn't feel like a runner. But I went, and it was like that feeling of, oh, this feels so good. I'm a runner. I feel like a runner. And then there's other days you're like, oh my God, I feel like I can't even run 5K. How can I do anything else? It's amazing how your body just is different. It adapts and it does different things. It's incredible what we can do with our bodies.
I also felt the same way because I did 15 kilometers on Monday, and that felt so nice and it was easy. And I was like, oh my God, all this suffering I'm doing is actually paying off because it was not as hilly as this one.
Right.
And so that used to feel really tough before.
Yeah.
But and this time it was like super easy and I was not tired, and I was like, wow, okay, at least something is working, right? And like you said, like some runs are super, even though how well we may be trained, some runs are just tough because for so many reasons that happen on the race day. So I think at the end of the day, it matters what we do on that day. Today at around 7 kilometers, my left knee is the ITB kind of thing. It was hurting and I was, oh my God, maybe I need to stop. I've had so many injuries in my life. So with a small pain, I get really triggered now.
Yeah.
So I'm always always cautious, like, should I stop or what should I do? Should I run? And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna stop because I came out already, and then I was able to run throughout the race without any pain. But what defines us is how we proceed that day. Like when you said you did the half marathon, you went it, even though it didn't feel great, but you went and you finished it. And that's the biggest accomplishment, is that you went and you did it
I was going to
rather
say,
than quit.
yeah, they all serve a purpose, right? I think it's important to have these tough days. Not everything's easy, right? If everything was easy, then we probably wouldn't be doing this, right? But the idea is to conquer something, right? It's to get through the hard times. When you get through the hard times, then you're like, okay, I can do it. That's the feeling of accomplishment, right? So I think we want it to be easy, but we really don't want it. I think secretly the hard things is what makes us feel good.
And also, it's something out of our comfort zone. You were talking about
100%.
earlier, you said that the growth happens when you're
Yes.
out of your comfort zone, because most of us are in comfort. Me too, including myself. I did Berlin Marathon last year, and I was only doing 2 marathons here. I was not trying to see what I can do. And I talked to so many people through podcasts, and they were doing this 100 milers or 100 Ks, 50 Ks, and they were inspiring me. And with all the talk I had with them, it was just about challenging yourself and see if you can do it or not. And that's the reason I signed up for this race, because to see if I can do it. If I cannot do it, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I want to at least see if I can do it or not. So that's why I signed up, and I was okay, I need to do this and challenge myself that I can do it. And yes, it sucks right now, but when the race day is here in 12 weeks, then I will conquer it. And then at that time, it will be just wow, all these Fridays of bitching and crying about all these
All
runs
worth it.
will finally, yeah, worth it. It's such a nice feeling that we put ourselves to go through all this hardship. We could just be sitting at home. And sometimes I feel that when I was running after the marathon, right, in February or something, and I was looking at people, and I did not love running at that moment. And I was, why am I doing this? And I can see people drinking their coffee in the morning. I was like, I want coffee too. I want warm bed. Why?
But you know what? One thing, and you just touched on it, it's really important that people shouldn't compare themselves with others. It's really easy to get into that comparison trap, right? Where you see what other people are doing and you think, oh, I should be like them, or my time should be like them. Everybody has different circumstances, right? Just because someone is really fast, you don't know what they've been training or what they've been doing. Or if someone,
Exactly.
can't do something, maybe they have something that's been a roadblock for them. I think we have to just be really careful that everyone has their own unique journey and their own story and their own way of doing things. And that's okay. But use them for inspiration to be better, to learn, right? Comparison is a deadly thing. It can kill a lot of dreams
Yes.
and goals. And it's easy to get wrapped into it, especially with social media the way it is right now. You see everything and you think, oh my God, I want to be like them. We're all different for different reasons. And it's good to be different and you want to be different. And use them as inspiration. Compare to be like them, but use them as inspiration to learn how you can do more, right? I think that's really important.
Yes, yes. We cannot compare ourselves to somebody. I don't know if you've been following the Cocodera 250, and those people were running 250, and I cannot say I'm going to go and run them, because who knows how long they have been
Yeah,
training for that. And
exactly.
if I want to realistically do 250, then it's probably going to take me few years to get and build up to that. Sometimes that's why I said earlier on, when you just run on a marathon, then me being competitive, my goal is always to be faster and faster and try to get that best time. So now when I register for this ultra, now my perception has changed, because now I don't care about the time anymore. It's more about how I can challenge myself. It's
Right.
not even about somebody's doing this or that. It's about if I can do it, if my body can do it, and I want to see. And if I fail, then I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna register
Of
for
course.
another one. If I DNF, then that's okay, completely okay. But I at least want to see how much I can push myself. And I think that's the goal. Is we need to test ourselves. We cannot look at other people's social media and say, oh, they are running this, and
I don't
I
think
want
there's
to do this.
failure.
So
I think there's lessons. So it's not, failing is trying, right? If you're failing, it's because you tried. So that's an opportunity to take a lesson from it. I think it's a good thing. If people are failing, it's because they're trying. I don't think you should be scared of that. You should be scared when you try, when you stop failing. That's because you're not taking any risks. I
yeah.
have people for failing and being open about it. And it's okay to fail. It means you're trying something new and trying something that maybe you didn't think you could do, which is way better than not doing it at all, right?
And that's when the growth happens, like you said.
Yes.
That's out of their comfort zone, and they were trying something they didn't do before, and now failure will be a milestone for success coming in the future. I always take it like that, except for running marathons. When I fail, then it's hard. But I saw somebody post today on Instagram. He did a 50 miler, and he did up to because he had to cut off at that moment, and he was bummed that he couldn't go off. I like this quote so much. It says, "Try and fail, but don't fail to try."
Yeah.
And I told him exactly, mate, you went and you tried. And so that's good, because you did 50 miles. That's a big accomplishment. So kudos to you.
It's like
I
I
think,
say, if I didn't try to go in the water, I would have never been the person I am today. I believe that me taking that leap into the water changed my whole life, and I live by that. I tell everybody that was a defining moment in my life that changed the trajectory of where I was going. It's amazing, and I think it's
It is
beautiful.
amazing. And yes, and we are so scared to try new things because comfort is nice. Sitting at home, drinking coffee in the morning, right? That's the best thing. Instead of going and running in the trails, that's the best thing that we can do. Just sit here and drink and do all these things. I think that's just a human nature where we don't go out of our comfort zone. Hopefully, if there are runners out there, or even people, if somebody just listening to it, if they stumble upon the podcast and they can hear all these people talking about their journey and they can be inspired from it and just listen up and just try to do something, it's just about movement. Like walking is fine too.
You know,
You don't have to run. You can just
yeah.
go do Zumba or anything is okay.
Honestly, if you told me when I was starting to run back then that I'd be running marathons, I'd be doing duathlons, and I'd be signing up to do HYROX, I would have said, no way. I can't even run more than 5K. Look now, and that's a mindset. Everything that you put in your head, if you tell yourself you can't do it, you definitely can't do it. But if you tell yourself, I can do it, that means you're going to try, then you've already made that decision in your head. You're going to try. So anything's possible. Honestly, any endurance sport is more your mind than your body. Of course, you have to train, but in the end, the most important thing that I did when I did the triathlon week, that last week, the taper week, right before doing the triathlon, actually trained my mind. They actually had somebody when we were there that would talk about the mind. The whole week, all I did was talk positively and listen to YouTube videos of, it was a lot of Kobe Bryant, to be honest, of you can do it, a Mamba mentality. And honestly, I think that's where my headspace was. There was no, I'm not doing this. It was like, I'm doing this. That was it. It was I can and I will. That was the mindset.
Yes, I think we just have to try. Unless then, because we will never know. If you don't try, you'll never know. That's how I've been looking at things now. I just gotta try, and that's why I'm gonna train for this 56K ultra, and then I'm gonna train for the 100K and
Amazing.
see if I can
Good
do
for
it.
you.
Yeah, thank you. And also, we just briefly talked about this. Next question is around the same reason. Training is hard, right? Because if you're training for a marathon, then there is this training block, and there is this constant going to the gym, strength training, and everything. But you are doing so many things. We are training for the Berlin Marathon, and you are also doing this HYROX, which is insane because I've seen videos of people doing it, and that's so hard. And also, you are doing this 140K relay, and then the triathlon and everything. You are juggling a lot of power and endurance with the solo effort and with the team and everything. How do you manage to transitions in all these things mentally and physically? Because there's a lot of demand to do all of these things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Last year, even HYROX wasn't even in the picture. So I had no idea I was even going to do that. The person I'm doing with, Kasha, I actually met her on Instagram, and then we met in person for the first time at the New York City Marathon. When I did New York, there was no HYROX in the schedule for 2025. I don't even know how we decided that we'd sign up for a gym, and we started doing training for that. And then all of a sudden, we were doing a doubles, and then I contest this week, and all of a sudden, I'm doing singles and doubles. To answer your question, how to manage it, I think the most important thing is to schedule your time. Everything for me is scheduled. Work is scheduled. Time for myself is scheduled. Actually, this week I just had a mindfulness session at work talking about how important it is to make sure that you schedule the time for yourself, to be present for yourself. And that's how I am able to manage all of the schedules. My day starts really early. I wake up at 40-ish a.m. I'm at the gym by 30, and I train at an F45, and they're an affiliate HYROX training gyms. That's where I started to get comfortable with the idea of doing HYROX. That happens about 5 days a week. I train at F45. Then the marathon training, I'm going to be starting my build for Berlin on the 26th. And that is time that will happen right after I leave the gym. I'll come home and I'll run. If I can't do it then, I'll schedule time either at lunch or in the evening. But it's all about a schedule together. Anybody can do anything if it's important enough to you. And if it's important to you, you'll find the time. Where people don't block the time, it's because it's really not important to them or it's not been a priority. But if something's important, you make sure that you do it. That's just, I think, what humans do, right? When you have meetings at work, you block your calendar, you do the meetings, right? I feel for my personal life is blocking the time where that time is my me time. And when I go to the gym, I actually put my phone on do not disturb. I actually don't have my phone beside me when I'm at the gym. And when I'm running, obviously I have it just for making sure that I'm following my plan, but it's on do not disturb. I don't take calls unless there's certain people that are an emergency that will come through. but everybody else is blocked off. That time is my me time. It's just as important as the time I put into work, and it's working on me. So the way that I manage it is by putting a schedule together and holding myself accountable to it. And if something happens where I can't do it, that's okay. Life happens. So adjust the plan. That's basically how I've managed to keep myself accountable.
Yeah, and also I always say that do things you love, because if you love something, then you said that you'll find a way to do it. There's nothing in the world that will stop you from doing it,
Yes.
because if you love something, then you just want to do it. You're gonna go back at it. If it is running, then even though it is tough, sometimes we keep going back at it. We go schedule 4 or 5 runs a week, and we keep do the strength training and all these kind of other things. And why we do it is because we love it and we are happy doing it. So if you don't feel love with the things you do, then it feels like a job, and then
Yeah.
sometimes jobs are not nice.
You know what?
And you
It's funny because when you said that, it just reminded me. I always tell my team, if I don't go to the gym, I'm probably not going to be a good person that day. I'm better when I go and I do these things because I actually feel better. There's very rarely a time that I'm not getting and doing something, but if I don't, I feel awful. It's amazing. But going to the gym or running makes me feel like I've done something for myself. I try and do it in the morning because it actually sets the tone for the rest of the day. And honestly, by that time, I feel like I've had a whole day already and I've done so much. You feel accomplished. It's a rewarding feeling.
Yes, and that's how I exactly feel too. I used to wake up at 4:30 and then take a train around 5 and go to the gym and work out and then come back home. But I don't do that anymore. But I used to feel the same way, that I accomplished something. And if I do the gym in the morning, then I should run in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I did this. So now even whatever happens the rest of the day, at least I did something, and I'm proud that I did it, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And in the same topic, you are a VP, right? You're a wellness ambassador, and you are also stacking all those long runs and all these functional workouts that you need for the HYROX, for the marathon training and everything. So what part of your training mindset breeds into your leadership style?
Oh, to be honest, I said all of it really does. Balance, obviously, wellness with work, making sure that it's really important to be mindful while you're working. I encourage my team to do the same. I really believe if you don't take care of your body and yourself, you will not be your best self at work. You really need to factor and really focus on well-being. I tell my team, we actually schedule mindfulness and meditation sessions. So I do have it once in a while with them where we just have meditation session. I tell them that if we have a meeting where you don't need to be present, you're not presenting or you're not on camera, you're listening, go take a walk and take that call while you're walking, because you sit in front of a day all day sitting down. That is not actually how people are meant. They're not meant to be. You're supposed to be moving. And in marketing, that's what I lead, a marketing team. I don't know how you're going to be creative just sitting, going from one meeting to another and looking at a computer all day. I don't get creativity from that. I actually get creative when I go for runs. If you looked at my notes on my phone, there's a whole thing of marketing section on my phone. As I'm running, sometimes I get ideas and I write it down, and it spurs creativity. And I tell the team the same thing. I think one of the things I appreciate the most, I said life-changing, that I did that triathlon, that my company invested in me. I'm lucky I work for a company that believes in that. I want to make sure that I gain that, but I'm giving it back as well. Being a wellness and well-being ambassador is really important to me. I lead walks through the company. We have a Strava group for our company to measure how many people are doing runs or exercise, and we have a leaderboard through our marketing team. We share it monthly to say, hey, who's on the leaderboard? The idea is to encourage people to focus on themselves so they can be better. And being better for yourself, you'll be your best self at work. I really believe that. And I've been in organizations before where maybe that wasn't the thought process or the motto or the thinking, but I'm in an organization where it is, and I see the difference. Caring about people and their wellness and their well-being makes a big difference, and they perform better. They want to work more. They want to do things because you care about them and they know that, and it's genuine. I think that's helped my leadership style all around.
Yes, I work for companies where all these things are not so important, and all you do is just work, 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 and all they want is to have whatever time you have, just work and none of the other things. And that was kind of not helpful in a lot of regards. And I used to work out after work, and I was in Florida, and it was like, oh my God. And around 4 or 5, in the heat, it was so brutal because
Yeah.
it's not fun in Florida
I
in
have a place
summer.
I go run. I actually love being in
Yeah.
Florida in the summer. I know it's crazy, but I love it.
Yes, it's not fun, especially at around four.
Oh yeah.
4 to 6 is when the most heat gets, and
Yeah.
it's God. Yes, yeah, yucky. Here it's nice. Here I was in Arizona, and it was not that bad. Arizona was not humid; it was heat, but dry heat. And I used to wake up at 4:30 and get ready to go run with my cousin, and it used to be 90 degrees at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. It's God, it's so many things that I've done in life.
I do. I think it's so important that
And
at work that people take care of themselves. And it's funny, I just mentioned one thing. One girl on my team, I'm so proud of her. She's actually signed up to do her first 5K. Again, things that she didn't think was possible, she's doing it too. Again, and there's many stories I can share about people at work that last year or 2 years ago, there was two individuals. One guy did a 5K. He never thought he could do a 5K, and he was motivated to do it. He signed up, he did it with the Toronto Marathon. And then another girl did it with her mom, a 10K. So again, you challenge these people to do things, you give them the tools, they're going to show up more for you too, and they're going to be proud. Yeah.
and it helps build the team chemistry too. It's just not about about the self. It's about, if you have a good team dynamics, then it's much more nice to work and easier to work, and everybody get along and everything. And then if you have something in common, then that's perfect and everything. And around the question about the leadership all around, if we flip that around, and what's something your team at work has taught you that's helped you become a better athlete?
My team at work taught me to become a better athlete. I think it's more sometimes to actually slow down, not go so fast. And I think honestly, sometimes at work, things are super fast, right? And it's easy to get caught up in the speed of work and the demands that people need. But I think they've showed me that it's important to slow down. And if you think about that in training, in order to go fast, you have to slow down. That is something that needs to happen. We all think that you get faster by going fast all the time. It doesn't happen. Actually really need to slow down to go fast. And I think that my team has taught me that through all of the things that we do better when we slow down and take a look at what we're working on and focus. And it's the same thing for marathon training and endurance, is that you need to take a step back, slow down, build yourself over time to get better.
It's crazy, right? When you talk to people and then it's, "Oh, you need to run slow to get faster." They're, "Are you crazy?"
Couldn't
If they
believe
don't
it.
run, they don't understand.
I
They
did
don't understand.
triathlon. When I did the triathlon training, the coach was like, "You need to slow down." I'm like, "What do you mean slow down? How do I get fast?" He goes, "You need to slow down to go fast." And I'm like, "Trust me." And that's another thing, trust. Trust people. Trust in your training, trust in your work. When you go to a marathon, that's the celebration. That's not like everything else was the work, right? The celebration is you go to the marathon, trust your training. You need to trust yourself at that point. You've put in the work. But yeah, slowing down, that I never thought that was real. What do you mean? But it is real.
Yes.
It's important.
Yeah, if you just tell somebody that you need to slow down to run faster, it's just, oh no. When I was talking to my girlfriend and I told her that, "Baby, you need to slow down to run faster," and she's, "What do you mean?"
It doesn't make
Now,
sense.
now she's running. Yeah, now she's running in slower zone too. I think she figured it out for
Yeah.
herself that she needs to run slow. So now she's super chill, running slower and zone two, and now she's okay. I can see improvements now. Yes,
Yeah.
but if you don't understand everything at the beginning, it's a very best subject, but it doesn't make sense. Why should I slow down to run faster?
But it works.
And when we talk about the training, then there are so many aspects of it, right? It's just not about training. You said earlier on, before the call, we talked about all the sauna massages and everything, because you need to take care of your recovery, you need to hydrate yourself and all those things. So, what has been the biggest shift for you in terms of recovery, performance, and mindset? And what do you wish more athlete understood about these aspects of endurance sport?
We talked about recovery, and one of the things I actually do is preventative. I think sometimes people always think of stretching after. It's all the things before. I have a chiro that I see a couple times before any race, and I do it regular throughout the year. It's just to make sure my body is tuned, just like you tune a car. Go and you do maintenance on it. Same thing with your body. I usually get massages and I go and do stretching leading up to all of my races. I do it after as well because I think it's important, but I think it's important to treat your body like you would anything that you have that's important. If you think about your nice car, you take it in for an oil change or you go get tuned up. Think of your body the same way. You're putting a lot of work into your body. Think of the things that you can do to make sure that it's functioning right. I've been fortunate. I have not had injuries and hopefully that doesn't happen, but it could, right? Yeah, knock on wood. But there's a lot of athletes that have gone through injuries. For me, I just really focus on trying to do all the preventative work. I don't wait till after to do all the maintenance. I go and get stretched regularly. I make sure that I do hot yoga, pull-up. I have tight hip flexors that I'm working on. Stretching before and after is really important. You just can't go in and run and expect your body to take that all. It's really important to loosen up, do the stretches. Or I know know it seems a waste of time. You just get in there, but it's so important. And even after the marathon, all the things you do after for recovery is really important too. I try and use a hot sauna. I find that hot is really good. I do stretching in there. It helps me recover after my runs. Fortunately, I live in a condo. I have a full gym facilities where there is a sauna. Usually after my runs, I'll go in and do stretching in there to help my body recover. It's really important to take care of your body, not just focus on the training plan. There's a lot of things you need to do for running endurance sports. One is training. Two is making sure that you do these preventative and the stretching and recovery, preventative recovery, and then mindset, right? Training your mind. There's a lot of pieces that you need to think about when you do sports. It's not just the actual event or the run that you do. It's all the other things that you have to take care of as well. And also make sure you take care. Sleep, really important. Being a woman in perimenopause, I just turned 50, which is crazy. I can't even believe that, in December. And my body went through all kinds of changes. And where I could probably do with 4 or 5 hours, my body doesn't like that anymore. I actually have to sleep, and I have to prioritize that I'm getting 7, 8 hours of sleep, which is, how do you fit that in your day? The sleep is part of your training. You need to actually do it. And that leads me to rest days. I used to think rest days aren't as important. They're probably more important than some of the training because it gives your body the opportunity to recover, heal, and the muscles need to recover before you can actually do the exercises again or whatever you're training for. So rest days are critical. So treat them like that. And it's okay to go walk, but really don't run on those days. Don't think you're going to get better by adding a couple extra runs because you missed some other. Follow the plan. If you miss, hey, get back on schedule. Take your rest days. And for me, I've learned that sleep is really important, and I monitor that. The quality of the sleep is really important too. So sometimes you sleep 8 hours, but you're not getting good quality of sleep. That's why I love my Garmin. I actually track, am I getting deep sleep? Was it restful? Am I awake during the middle of the night? That's not good sleep. That you will probably even be more tired after. And that's probably where people can get injured and fatigued, and then that doesn't become fun. The training becomes where you question if you can do anything, right?
Yes, I also look at my sleep because that's what I do every morning after whenever, oh, let's see what my sleep score is. And I also do believe that sleep is one of the most natural recovery you can do for any workout,
Yeah.
regardless of what you do. And if you have a good sleep, then you feel so good. Today I napped for 15 minutes because the run was super hard today and I could feel my heart rate was a little bit higher than usual. I was not feeling well, I said earlier on. So I came and I napped and now I'm just like, wow, it feels different. And the stretching are so important. But if you ask me, it's probably one of the critical things. And now I'm more serious to it after talking to Alex. Now I do the therapy ball. I do my quad stretches, glute and everything and use the therapy ball on it. And I had so many people here and it's the same thing, right? All those people, we don't do enough stretching. We don't do
Yeah.
enough stretching, but that's one of the biggest thing that help you prevent injury because if your muscle are tight, then that's where all the injuries
Yeah,
happen and
that's
all the
where you
things
get
that
at
happen.
risk.
Yeah, I what you said where we need to take care and prevention is very much the important thing rather than working on it once it's too late. If you can just start working on it once you figure out that you have issues with it. I've been running for 7, 8 years and I never paid closer attention to what was happening to my body and why I was having so injuries only on one side of the legs. I was talking to Milton on the podcast and he said that he had some imbalances, so that's why his one leg was particularly sore than the other one, and then that kind of hit me because then I started to notice that all my injuries were on my left side. I was talking with ChatGPT and I asked, oh, how can I know which leg is weaker than the other one? And then it gave me a few instructions to do it, and one of was to sit on a chair and then put one leg up and then try to stand on. And needless to say, my left was super screwed up and I was not able to do it. I was able to do it with my right one, but with my left one, it was not possible. I started adding few repetitive single leg workouts, deadlift and
Yeah.
things randomly. I don't have to go to the gym for it. So I'm going to the kitchen and making coffee. Then I just go and do this.
Yeah.
So that way I'm doing rep here and 5 rep here. So that way I'm just trying to balance it out. We just have to pay notice. You said, figure it out before it's too late. Otherwise the injuries are not fun. And I have had everything. You can ask me what I don't have. So
Oh no, that's not fun.
let's talk about your goals for this year and the future because you are doing so much, right? The Berlin Marathon, and we talked about earlier on having a PR and everything. They're doing this HYROX thing, which is hard. So I'm sure you have goals for all of this. So what is driving you to pursue these goals and what it is about? It is about proving yourself, or is it about discovering something that you want to figure out? We're talking about so much before about trying something and see if you are capable of doing it, or what is it about your goals in
Sure.
the future?
First of all, this year is, I didn't think I could top last year when I did the New York City Marathon. It was incredible. It was just one of the most amazing experiences. It wasn't about time, it was about enjoying the moment. It was just unbelievable. And then this year came around and I thought, okay, I am doing the Berlin Marathon, which is another amazing goal that I'm excited to achieve. And then something came up where we're doing the Riot Relays. And I just want to mention that because it's actually great. You had Nicole on here, and I think she
Yes.
mentioned, and I got to meet her through Instagram as well and through the running community. And I'm doing it with her, and it's 5 other women, 6 of us in total. We're actually doing it for a cause, so for the Canadian Cancer Society. And we've had some amazing sponsors. I'm very grateful to the sponsors that are supporting us. The idea is that we're going to run from Toronto to Blue Mountain in a relay overnight. And like I said, I just turned 50, so doing an overnight run is just a crazy thought to me, but it's amazing that we're going to do that. HYROX is something that I included because I wanted to do more functional strength training. And I feel it's a balance of CrossFit and running. You really need to be a runner to be successful in HYROX. In the future, dreams that I really haven't said, it's the one that I whisper in my ear, a goal that I want to do. It's Boston. I dream of qualifying for Boston and running the Boston Marathon. This is the first time I've said this out loud. It's one that I feel has been always there, and it's hard. And the reason why, you asked me the question of why do I set these goals? I think I'm that person that needs to challenge myself to see how much more I can do. It's not about crushing PRs all the time. It's more about challenging myself to see what I'm capable of when I never thought I could do half these things. It's the feeling I get when I accomplish a goal that I'm capable, I am strong, and I can do more. That feeling is an addiction, I think. It's not a bad addiction, though. It's a good addiction where I'm just trying to conquer new things. And HYROX is a scary thing, I'll tell you. I'm totally scared to do this HYROX, especially the women's single. But I know that there's no pressure because I'm trying, right? Failure is just I'm going to learn. So if I don't do what I thought I could do, I've tried, and I'll take those lessons and I'll apply them to next year or whatever I do next. But I think it's really important to always lead with your heart. And that is for me what I always want to do when I do anything, is that I'm always doing it with heart. And achieving the goals and finishing is something that just motivates me to keep going and be better each day. And I think that's really important to me. I think it's important that I try new things and challenge myself. I think that's just who I am. I need to make sure that I'm constantly challenging myself to be better each day. If it's 1%, always better 1% each day.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier that if we don't try, then we'll never know. You said it looks tough because I've seen people do it and it's a hard thing to do. You're pushing yourself and you are gonna find out. And you said failure is the cornerstone of new success. I think that's what I believe in, because we talked about the failure and there is no such thing as failure, because we will learn so much about ourselves, our limit at the time, because we will know that maybe we were not ready, but that doesn't mean that you failed, because you gave it best, right? At the end of the day, that is what it counts, is how much did you give. And if you give your 100%, then that's okay, because you can always go back next time and do it. And like I said, if I have a DNF for this ultramarathon, then I'm going to go and try again and see if I can do it, because that's what it's about. Like we talked about, is you also said it's about finding out who we really are. And I think running has taught me that we can have continuous growth and we can be comfortable with it too. So how do you want to proceed with it?
Yeah.
Is you can either be happy with where you are, running one marathon a year is not bad, because only 1% of the population do the marathon anyway, so it's not a bad thing to do. But what are you doing more, and what are you doing to challenge yourself? Because that's the ultimate goal, is to see how much you're capable of.
One other thing I want to add is I have 2 daughters, and I was at, when I went through my divorce, I got remarried that's going to be 2 years ago. But when I went through my bad divorce, I was at a low that I never thought I'd get. It was crawling back up into discovering who you were. And I want my girls to actually see that you can be strong and you can pick yourself up and you can actually go and do hard things. That's really important to me. My youngest daughter, actually, she did a few years back a 10K. And then last year she did the half marathon with me. And this year she's told me that she wants to do a full marathon. So I'm super excited and super proud of her. She actually told me, and this is crazy, that she wants to actually do Boston too. I think just that is reward enough for me to see that they've taken the lessons and some of the things that I've gone through, they've used it in their own personal lives. And if I can be an inspiration and role model to them, then I've done my job. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It seems like whatever you are doing is reflecting on your daughters too, which is great. And if she wants to do marathon and if her goal is to do the Boston, then let's go. Sky is the limit because you will get where you want to go, because that's what I believe in running is nothing happens overnight. But if you put in a constant work, constant effort, and if you become consistent with it and build, then I think anything is possible because there is nothing else you can
Yeah,
do if you want to run.
we put the limits on ourselves. We're the
Yeah.
ones who do that, right? Cap the
Definitely,
limits.
yes.
If we tell ourselves we can't do it, then we're not going to do it. Create that limit. And why not just try and open the limit up and do all the things and try? And then what your limit is, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, we talked about this a lot today, is about trying and finding out. And sometimes finding out is not a bad thing. I may sound a broken record by now, but it's not bad. It's a good thing because you figure out that you work more. So next time do more training. Maybe you need to do more longer runs. You need to maybe do higher elevation more. So it's just about changing the next phase where you want to be, and it's just going to be like building from zero block, because if you fail, then that's the opportunity where you can grow, because that's where you need to improve yourself and where the growth will happen. We just need to embrace this because we're not competing for a gold medal or anything. We're just competing against ourselves and for us to do well. So it just need to have fun, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, because that's what I'm doing now, enjoying it rather than trying to do everything fast, every run faster, because that's what I was doing, run fast. Didn't enjoy it without the headphones. Now I run without headphones. It's just about enjoying the nature, and we just have to remember that we are choosing to do this because nobody's forcing me to do this. I signed up on one will to run this ultra marathon because nobody asked me. I was inspired by so many people who did it, and I was okay, I need to challenge myself. But I had that option. I could have been just completely okay and said that nah, I don't want to do it. I'm doing one marathon, two marathon there, that's okay for me. But I chose to see if I am able to do it, and in 3 months,
Can't wait to hear it.
yeah, I'm super nervous actually because it's
Nerves are good.
the elevation.
That means it's something that you want and it's scary, and nerves are good. That means you care.
Yes, yeah. And I'm very competitive person. I know I will do it, but it's just about I've never tried something like this. Like 950-meter is a lot because I ran 220 today, and this was the longest I've ever done as a training block. And this week is probably gonna be like 500 meters elevation. It's going up, and I'm just this is like a new territory because my legs are hurting more.
Yeah.
And I said I didn't want to run, and it's like a new challenge, and it's scary because all this doubt. I talked with Milton and James. The episode is coming out today. I talked about the failure, and we were talking the Berlin Marathon, and then I said, what will happen if I don't get the soft 4 again? And they were talking about that's not how we should perceive things, because you couldn't have a time of your life at a marathon. You said the goal was 4 hours, let's say, but you finished 4:01, but you had the best time and you enjoyed everything, every moment. You were high-fiving everyone, and then you were cheering and you were dancing. Will you be disappointed that you didn't get 4:01 and you missed it by a minute, or will you be happy and will you be okay with all the things that you've experienced in your life?
You know
that
what?
kind of really
You talk about that reminds me of the New York City Marathon. We went in, Katie and I, and we went in for the New York City Marathon, and we said, it's not about time. And honestly, it was the best decision we made. We partied on the streets of New York. We sang, danced, every borough. It was hard, but it wasn't about time. It was about enjoying every moment of that marathon. I have the best picture standing on that bridge with my arms, the ones you posted for this episode. That's honestly, if I was just going for time, I would have missed all of that. And it wasn't about the time for me in New York. It was about enjoying the moment and taking it all in. And honestly, I don't regret that at all. Some marathons you go for PR, and there's some marathons you go to enjoy and take in the moment. That was for the moment. I don't regret that at all. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's the important thing is, and I think I'm guilty of it too, because I only run 2 marathons a year. My always focus was to run faster than the before. Everything was in front of me and nothing else. I always give high five to the kids if I see it, but when I did half marathon a couple of weeks ago, I was close to PR and I was not ready for it. I was not totally fit for it to do the PR, but I was close and I pushed myself and I got injury because of it. I totally miscalculated my PR because I didn't even confirm what is my PR. I made up a plan and everything without confirming what my PR was. I missed it by 30 seconds. And that race was before I give high five to all the kids. And I tried to, because it's a memory for them. And who knows, it might be something they take out from the race and they go, look, that guy high five me, everybody high five me. And that felt so nice. It's a memory. And when we go for a time that we miss all of that. And
100%.
there is no fun, you know,
It has has to
It
have fun,
was
right? You can't not
yeah.
have fun. This, for me, it has to be a balance of the two. There are times where you want to go for time. There are times that you're going for PR that you want to, but other times, for me, it needs to be fun too, because you have to still love what you're doing. And going in the community makes it fun. You talked about the kids, high-fiving the kids as you go through the streets. That's something they remember, of course, and you remember too. It's special moments. I think it is important to have fun. You can't lose the fun in it.
Yes, I think that's one lesson for me. One important thing that I need to do is not marathon for PRs, because that's what I was always focused on, was to get better times. And that's why I probably not loved running for a few months. I think
Yeah.
from February to mid-April, I was not too happy with running, and I absolutely hated every part of it. But now I am slowly, today was hard, but still I was happy, relatively happy seeing the rabbit and
Yeah.
then the deer, and it was just okay, yeah, it is nice. I'll have to keep that in mind. I'll take you in and try to do it next time, hopefully. And also, I think you answered about this, because you said it's never too late to start, pivot, or have big dreams. I don't know if you answered this, but the question is, what's a dream you still haven't said it out loud?
So that was the one, the Boston, the one that is in the back of my head. I think the other thing is that I dream of creating something for women like me, a space where we feel strong, seen, and supported in midlife. I'm not sure what that is yet. Whatever it is, it will come. But those are the two things. One, Boston, that's right here, always in the back of my head, thinking, like, can you do it, Christine? And again, I gave this advice, you can do it if you try, right? You have to go after it. Now that I said it out loud, we're going to have to focus on it being some kind of a reality. But the other is, like I said, a space for women. I don't know what that is yet, but it is something that I want to make sure that I give back. There's a lot of things I've learned as a midlife 50 menopausal woman that I think that sometimes people suffer on their own, and maybe there's something I can do to help. Right now I use my platform on Instagram to hopefully motivate people, share my journey as I go through it, the hard parts, the good parts. But I think there's more that I can do, and hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I think Boston is everybody's crown jewel, right? So if you're a runner, then that's the one dream everybody wants to have. And you know what? The Berlin Marathon is coming in a few
Yeah.
months, and that's a perfect time to get the BQ. So hopefully you can get it.
Maybe it won't,
Yeah,
hoping that I will get. I think I am going to go for time because it is a flat course and it's an
yeah, that's
already.
what I was saying. You need not get another one. Yeah, it's
think
super flat.
I
So
think that this is, I don't know if Boston qualify, but I do think that the idea is to improve and get better and aim for that goal. Yeah.
I believe in you.
Thank
You
you.
got this. Okay, those are all the regular questions I had, but there is this rapid fire round. I'll just ask you some random
Sure.
questions, and you can just give me whatever comes to the top of your head. So no thinking, just whatever comes. So here we go. Morning run or evening grind?
Morning.
Music or silence on your long runs?
Music if it's not a marathon. Marathon, no music.
Race meal you crave every time?
It's a weird thing. I want a bagel with peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why.
Oh God, that is weird.
Weird. And a coffee. And I don't
It's
even
not
drink
even
milk.
good.
I know it's
That's not
not.
even.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
And then I want a coffee with 2 milk, 1 sugar. And I don't usually have milk. So I don't know.
Coffee is okay, but peanut butter on bagel is what? You just ran a marathon. Yeah, that is a weird one. Now, what's the worst training advice you have ever received?
The worst training advice I'd ever received?
Mhm.
And that one's going to stump me. I think go fast because I think would be the worst training advice.
Just one word that describes how running makes you feel.
Peaceful.
Workout you secretly love to hate.
Oh, squats.
Oh. Who inspires you to keep?
My daughter.
Okay, these are the questions. And also, few things before the final question I ask everybody else. I think you said you wear the Garmin, right?
Yeah.
And what type of shoes do you prefer?
For races, Nike Alpha Fly. I'm a Nike kind of girl, to be honest. I try lots of other shoes, but I always go back to Nike.
And so, do you use a specific kind of gels for marathons or training? What do you
Yeah,
use?
I'm picky with my gels. I don't like those sweet things. I like natural, so I use maple syrup. And I usually only will have maple syrup gels, just maple syrup with ginger and caffeine. And that's the only ones that I feel that I can.
Okay. And I think the last question is probably something that everybody would resonate and feel whatever we say. So I would like you to finish this sentence or complete this sentence. Running has changed my life because.
It's allowed me to become a better person and it's given me peace.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And thank you so much for your time and opportunity, because now I got to know you more, and I'm sure that there will be someone who is when they're listening to this episode and they're probably in the same phase as you are, and you have been, and where you picked up running and everything, and then they can relate to you. And then instead of that medication, I hope they pick up that shoes and just they can, okay, if she did it, then I can do it too. And maybe you can be this inspiration, then everybody can take out and think that you can do whatever you want. There is nothing, you are the limiter of yourself, and
Yeah.
you can break all the shackles that you have and everything. So I
There is
really appreciate you taking your time and
There's just
giving it to
one
me.
thing I want to say. If there's one thing I
Okay.
want listeners to take away from this, from me being here, it's that it's never too late to start again, not just in running, but in life. You can start scared, you can start slow, you can even start broken. But if you show up with heart, you'll be amazed at what you're capable of. I'm not here because I was fearless. I'm here because I chose to keep on going. And I hope that somebody, whoever's listening, if you're broken, you can keep going and life gets better.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, thank you for making it to the end of the podcast. I hope you really enjoy this conversation. I'll see you again next time with another guest. Until then, happy running.